Hello everybody, welcome to a spotlight on Business Wars, the card game. It's a strange card game, to be sure. I don't quite know how to explain it, so rather than try to explain it, I'll try to show you. So we're going to start a new business, which the only one I have unlocked at the moment is this default one. I will keep the guidelines on, just because I'll be explaining it anyway, so might as well get some help in explaining it. I do not fully understand every single mechanic in the game yet. The game doesn't do a great job introducing you to its mechanics, I'll give it that much. It could improve there. I'm going to not put on hard mode because, again, I don't quite have a very firm grasp on the game myself yet. So, what are you trying to do in this game? In this game, you're trying to beat your opponents in a card game to take over their company. And here we have 3 companies, we can choose which one to fight. So, originally I wanted to go with the lowest number here, but then I realized rank 31 means that it's higher than rank 32 and rank 33. So we're going to go with the rank 33 opponent. And then, I already fucked up. So that was the settings. That is a button for help. This shows you your passive skills, which isn't relevant in your first game. Once you win your first game, you get points, which you can use to enable and buy passive skills, which are going to help you later on. That's your deck list. You've got an end turn button, because of course you do. That is your capital. That's your money. Once that hits 0, you lose. This is your opponent's capital. Once that hits 0, you win. But your opponent has insurance, which means that if it's 4, I need to deal at least 5 damage against him in order to lower his capital. It's a little bit iffy as to how you're supposed to lower this. It has something to do, I think, with the amount of cards on here. I am not entirely sure. Then you have this turn counter. You get a couple of turns before your opponent moves. So you have a lot more movement freedom than your opponent. Once that hits 0, every one of these phases will move 1 down, and everything in the red column will start to damage you. Then you've got shuffle effect, round effect, and passive effect. Those I don't really care about. That's the forecast phase. Things in there don't really do anything, but at least you can see what is coming up next. Then you've got your coming phase. They don't have any effect either, it says, but that is what's coming up next. So it's kind of like the forecast phase. I don't think there's much of a difference between the two. Then you've got your current phase. For each situation, plus 1 opponent's insurance. So anything in here, any situation, is going to give you plus 1 insurance. The thing is, I only see 2 in here, yet he has 4 insurance, so I don't exactly know why. And then in here we have the critical phase. From here will trigger attacks towards me. Each situation in here is 1 opponent insurance. So by all accounts he should only have 3 insurance, but he has 4. Why? I don't know. These cards are the cards in your hand to solve situations, la-di-la-di-da-da. So maybe it is because we have a card which adds insurance, but it does not look like it does. So that is a little bit strange, and I do not fully understand it myself, but we're just going to play this. We have a card that adds capital. We're at the max capital as it is at the moment. We can only have 30 capital, so there's no use in playing this card. So we're going to shuffle that back into the deck in a moment. This is a targeted card, and I'll show you here. There's a couple of different kinds of icons you can find on your cards. That's targeted single, this is targeted row, and you've got a specific target, which the card will affect a specific target. That's a specific kind of target. Then you've also got random, random single, random row, all that stuff. We'll get into that in a moment. This one is a single target. So I can deal 3 influence, which is kind of like 3 damage against 1 card. And here is one thing that's very important. This is a zero-sum game. It's a reverse card. And that didn't get explained in the tutorial. Again, the tutorial really does need some work. But right here, when we hover over this, we can see, well, it's a bad example actually. When we hover over this one, we can see it's got, on the left-hand side, it's got a 2. On the capital of the enemy. Why did that deselect? Then on the right hand side, it's got a 3, which one of those numbers is the amount of damage it'll do once it hits you, and the other one is kind of like its HP. I think the one on the right is the damage, the one on the left is the HP. So we can try that out right now by playing this card against you, and as you can see, this goes down by 3, but this still is 4, so he'll still take 4 of my capital if he survives long enough to do that. Is there anybody that I do want to reverse around here? Not particularly at the moment. Everything is fairly close. So I'm going to end my turn, and that's going to refresh my hand. So this is 3 random cards are going to get hit by 1 influence. So that's always something you just want to immediately use, more or less. This is a row I can use -2 influence, so I can choose the row I want to use this on. So if I use it here, he'll get taken out and he will only have 1 HP left. Every single card also has the possibility of having a effect, like this one, hand card -1. It's not effective yet, but once he gets into the current phase, I'll only have 2 cards in the hand. That's really, really not good. I don't exactly know what surprise is. After attack, add 1 business interruption. Business interruptions, cards you don't want. After attack, after move, attack 1 time. New round, random situation, influence +1. You want to get rid of that as well. Maybe, actually I think in this row, these effects don't take effect, but in this row they do. I think that's how it works. But they don't impact the insurance. Maybe. I don't exactly know. Again, the game doesn't do a great job of explaining it. So, and then we have a silence card, which I am not entirely sure what that does, to be honest. I think that means that the effect will not be able to be used. So let's silence you, and then let's get rid of you and damage you. And sometimes you get to get new cards when you take out enemy cards. So we can silence 2 random cards. We can chain stores, which are only good once you have more chain store cards, because it does 0 influence, but it actually does 2 times the same. So it does 2 times the amount of chain store cards you have or play. I'm not entirely sure about that either yet. And then you've got surprise, which I don't know what surprise does, but it also deals 2 influence against 2 random cards. So I'm going to go with that card. I'm going to end my turn. Then, now I have 4 cards. I don't know why I have 4 cards, but I have 4 cards. Let's use this immediately, and that gets rid of the thing in the red phase, which you want to get rid of those first for obvious reasons. This is +3 capital, but you do need to discard 1 random card. If you use this as the last in your hand, obviously you just get 3 capital. Then you've got a 1 to 4 insurance on a row, which that doesn't necessarily mean everything in a row will be hit for the same amount of influence. Did I say insurance? I mean influence. So that'll be a very fun thing to show you once I get it. And let's see. This is a random row, influence 3. So let's see, it does it on that one. And now the opponent's insurance is fairly low. So let's see if I have any cards that can attack the opponent directly. I cannot, because random cards you cannot use on your opponent. So I'll just spam those into here, I suppose, just to deal a little bit of extra damage. And then this is a card that affects every living card on the board, and those usually are fairly good. Situation influence equal to budgets. Don't know what that does, but this seems a lot more useful for me right away. So now things are going to move down, and he has a lot more insurance again. So that's not particularly great for me. Let's increase my capital back to 25. And do I want to reverse anything in here? I do not think I do. I want to kind of keep this for if I get a row attack, because there's just 1, 1, and 2. A row attack can easily take care of that. While, for instance, this card over here could potentially end up being a problem. So let's take care of this card. And now we get a rare card reward, which is always good. Draw 2, capital -1. That is, I love that. I really do. Let's see. We now have Influence 2. There we go. That more or less takes care of this this row. Silence. Is there anything we do want to silence after attack? Add 1 business. We definitely want to silence that. And I don't want to use that really. I'm going to hope that the 2 influence gets applied to that one, and it does, which means that you're going to have significantly less insurance, and I can attack him directly. Supply chain management is a passive card. Once you draw it, as long as it is in your hand, you'll do 1 more damage with influence. So now I can use a targeted attack against the company itself, and that deals a little bit of damage. Not as much as I had hoped, but that's what you get with random values, right? So draw 2, capital -1. I don't think I'll need that at the moment. Let's see what this does. This is also random. The random cards you would usually just throw out there and see what it does. I'm in a fairly decent situation here when it comes to his insurance. So I'm going to try to draw 2 more cards. And that didn't do anything. And now his insurance is back up again. That was bad luck on my part. Want to keep you around. Influence 1 to 4. That could be good enough. That was not good enough. I need to get rid of you this way. And then we get some random. That wasn't a very good move. Definitely want to increase capital a little bit. Then I guess we use that on here just to get rid of some more cards. I'm going to put a silence on you, and I don't really want to reverse either of those, so throw out a random. We've got a business interruption. Who gave me an interruption? I don't like those. I'm forced to end my turn without being able to do damage, which stings a little bit. Let's see. Influence 3. I kind of need that. Hopefully I'll draw it right away. I don't. I'll show you, by the way, what the business interruption does. You can't use this card 1 when draw and remove. So that means that it's not a card what I use, but when I draw it, I need to randomly discard 1 card from my hand. And it also takes up 1 card in my hand. So it's like a really big burden on you. Let's see. Want to use these cards first to get rid of some of these. And I think he doesn't have any insurance left after this. Influence 1 when use card. I don't know what that means. Honestly. Surprise. I guess I'll use it. Usually I like the random cards most, really. So, slowly but surely, their budget will decrease and decrease and decrease, and so will mine, obviously. So, let's try to take out those. I don't understand. I think I suddenly understand what the insurance thing is. You can definitely see, this guy gives 2 insurance, this guy gives 1 insurance, hence he has 3 insurance. I just don't understand exactly why I'm getting business interruptions still. Because neither of you are supposed to have that effect. That's a little bit strange to me. So yeah, definitely that is how it works. So we figured it out live. This guy and this guy are the one giving insurance. These 2 are not, but they have active or, well, passive effects, which is the opposite of active, I am aware. This could potentially be a real good card to use against the company itself, because it can do up to 6 damage. So let's use the draw card first. That was not a good card for me to draw. I guess we want to get rid of some of the major insurance he has. And I also kind of want to get rid of the -1 hand card, if at all possible, as soon as possible. But I can deal a decent amount of damage. I wish I could reverse here, because it's really no use attacking these 2 right now. So let's just silence. I mean, I might as well, right? There's no reason not to. And then deal just some damage against him is the best I can do at the moment. I can reverse. Definitely want to reverse probably you. Oh, and whenever I use a card, I also deal 1 influence, which is 1 damage to everybody on the board, I think. That's what this card does. Yeah. Okay, you still only have 1 insurance. Random cards, there's really nothing strategic to be done there. I want more zero-sum game because those are very, very useful. Utility-based cards, that's what they are. Can't use influence +1, and this is random. I can't target you with random cards, sadly, so you're lucky. I can target you with this card, though. And not with that one. And not with this one. But I cleared the board, so that is a real good advantage for me. So, because now I can just focus on any cards that show up, which is really good. Because there's just 1 card now, which doesn't even give any insurance. So I can just murder that card right away. If I wanted to, which obviously I do want that. So let's murder this card. And then use that card to deal damage to the company itself directly. I would prefer a little bit more capital because I'm in a bit of a tight spot. You're right. Influence 2. This does influence 2 to 6, which it did 5. That's great. I can immediately attack you again. And we've won this game, more or less. Let's see, you give insurance. Oh, but you have... I have a zero-sum game, so fuck you. And that's your insurance gone. And now that's 3 more damage against you. 4 more damage against you, actually. And let's move on to the next turn. I don't really care about these effects anymore because you're so close to being mine that I only care about getting rid of any insurance possible. So, can't use influence or any budgets. The terms are really weird. Just HP, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's a bit too bad, isn't it? It's a bit too bad. I guess it isn't actually, because I can just use both of those directly in the company and the cards don't matter. I won this game. And now I get management moments, which means that I can get passive boosts. So I can remove a card, which costs 1 point. I can reset all of my passives, which costs 1 point. I can add to my max capital, which costs 2 points. And these are the passive benefits I can get. So that is max cards in hand, +1, or 5% capital for every round. And that's what I get. So definitely want one of those. And then both of them get rerolled. So surprise chance is +5. I still don't know what that does. 3% silence, new situation. So I'm going to go for 5% surprise chance, whatever that might mean. And then minimum random influence is +1. That is really good. Because if I get a card which is 1 to 6, I'll get a minimum of at least 2. If I get a card that's 0 to 4, sometimes you'll get nothing. With this one, you'll get at least 1. So that is really good. And then you move on to the next company to take over. So we get Netfly, Sugar Drink, or Blue Star. The companies obviously being based on real companies, mostly as far as I can tell. That has been the Card Wars, Business Wars card game, whatever the game is called. You can get it on Steam right now. Links down below in the description if you enjoyed this video and or game. I've been Vlogger. You have been awesome. As always, bye.